So, James, when you look at some of the biggest successes with CTV, amongst your that you guys have been part of, how does that look? What does it look like in terms of verticals and KPIs for your customers?
Well, let me start by saying that I've been blessed to be in this business for nearly 20 years, which dates me. I've been blessed to be selling digital advertising for this particular company for almost 10 years. We started off in the display business. We went through the whole boom of programmatic display. The whole world went mobile, so the web became mobified, and we kind of experienced the boom associated with mobile. But now here we are at connected TV, and I can say without hesitation that connected TV is the fastest growing ad format in the history of this company. And I suspect that that's true for a lot of companies. 2020 has been when we think about successes in CTV, it's been kind of a unique year, obviously, kind of the year of the pandemic and the year of political. So we're seeing our share of political dollars pouring over to CTV with the primary goal, obviously, of incremental reach and targeted reach to specific audience KPIs. We're obviously seeing our fair share of public health messaging. Interestingly enough, because of the boom in political dollars, not only in CTV, but in linear and battleground markets like Arizona, we're seeing large local advertisers who maybe weren't advertising in connected TV make migrations into connected TV in an effort to still be able to reach their target audience. So large auto dealer groups, attorneys, healthcare groups, that sort of thing. From a national advertiser perspective, we've seen a real nice shift in consumer goods, consumer marketing, particularly the whole craze with DIY and all the growth around doing things at home, cleaning at home, home projects, that sort of thing. We've obviously seen all of those categories grow significantly across CTV. And of course, as we approach the holiday season, we're seeing a real increase in interest and buys across retail. And those KPIs can be everything from buying incremental audience reach to linear to very direct response specific type goals like actual transactions online or to drive incremental foot traffic directly into their physical location. So the attribution's been all over the map, but it's been very successful.
So, what are some challenges? We speak to people. There's some challenges about measurement, perhaps. There's also challenges that there's so many devices. What are some challenges that you guys face that you're trying to solve that will make campaigns more effective?
Well, I mean, ultimately, if you look at it from our perspective, we're in the automated media buying business. So we're trying to make the ability to execute on campaigns either locally or nationally scale very quickly, to be able to start and stop those campaigns very quickly, and to be able to access as much high quality inventory with as much data and education behind those individualized purchases as humanly possible. That requires speed and integration. And so one of the big challenges that's still a challenge, right, is just the inventory universe of ad-supported connected TV inventory is still a little bit disconnected in the space. So we obviously have integrations with supply side partners and exchanges that are long-standing, and they're starting to increase the amount of connected TV content that is coming through the exchanges. We're seeing new exchanges and supply side partners specific to the connected TV space kind of rise in prominence and integrate and be great partners. But the fact remains that today, to buy the full scope of ad-supported connected TV, we have to staff a team that has to literally negotiate with individualized content producers and publishers across hundreds or even thousands of private marketplace deals. And each one of those individual content companies or publishers might have very specific rules around which advertisers they do and don't let advertise, or how fast they respond in messaging. So in a world where we're used to operating in milliseconds, trying to get our hands around the entire inventory that's out there and the fragmented way it's being brought to market to be purchased continues to be a challenge, but it's improving every single day. I think one of the other things that maybe we didn't expect is, in addition to linear buyers spending more dollars in connected TV, and they have all of this experience around creative advertising and video assets specifically for TV, there's this large migration of digital dollars and new advertisers and new agencies jumping into connected TV. And they may not have the infrastructure associated with building high quality video creative assets specifically for TV. They might lack the expertise, they might lack the infrastructure, they might lack the partnerships. So we're seeing, for instance, from certain agencies or certain brands, creative delays and learning gaps that are having to be overcome as it pertains to the handling of the video creative that we hadn't seen in a very long time across display and other formats.
Speaking of inventory, what about inventory quality? It's not always a well-lit place, and you as a DSP have to be careful. What are some considerations around brand quality, and how do you assure that?
Yeah, when I hear people talk about quality, it reminds me of other terms that people talk about with great frequency, like terms like premium. And my personal experience is that those terms are really subjective. They're very personal. If you take it at its most core level, I would think that almost everybody is in universal agreement that quality means that we're serving an impression, a viewable impression to a live human in a brand safe environment. I think there's pretty much universal agreement on that. Once you get outside of that agreement, everybody's definition of quality is slightly different. What we're seeing as a relative norm is that for a lot of people, quality in the connected TV space means that we're serving a large screen device, so it's particular to a certain device. So you're serving on the large screen TV as opposed to the tablet or the mobile phone or in a browser, and that you're associating that non-skippable ad to long form or episodic content, that it's genuinely being paired with a true episode or movie of traditional TV content, as opposed to maybe somebody watching short form content that really isn't a full-blown show or movie. It's not episodic, so short form content on the television set itself. There are all kinds of other metrics that people might be using that are more traditional about whether the content that you're serving across indexes heavily against their desired audience KPIs, or whether you're able to achieve impression and reach within certain times of day is an example. And then frankly, as we get further down the attribution funnel, and TV becomes more direct response oriented, a lot of people will start defining quality based on, frankly, does it perform? And impressions that serve on certain content that performs, whether it's an online purchase or a physical visit or some other measurable KPI, would be the new definition of what is quality and what is not.
And James, finally, a lot of moving and shaking in the programmatic space, and certainly in the DSP space, and some big players, some unique players. I'm sure you run into a lot of competition. It's a very dynamic marketplace. How do you see the unique value proposition of Simpli.fi?
Simplify for the longest time has been about really making data perform better. The idea of real-time bidding, which is at the origin of this company, is that media is best served when it can be bought on a one-to-one basis, where you're buying one impression, one at a time, based on some informed audience data with some level of recency that is reliable, to try to extract the absolute maximum value out of every ad impression that you serve. And at the core of what we do is we recognize that there's a whole host of companies that have gone about data-driven advertising and now data-driven connected TV, who are adopting some of the same legacy processes that have existed in the display world, such as the use of pre-built third-party audience taxonomies. And those things are great. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of DMPs, there's a lot of segments, and they're fairly easy to implement. But at the end of the day, we wanted to build an infrastructure at this company dating all the way back to display, where you could look inside of an audience segment, have greater transparency into what data elements are being built to inform that audience, to be able to bid more granularly at the data level and to extract maximum value out of every impression. Because we do that, we're able to drive very high levels of performance on both local buys and national buys. And so taking that core value that is Simpli.fi and moving it into the connected TV space in a world where it's increasingly becoming an audience-driven buy really bodes well for our company. And we've seen just tremendous success, not only in gaining interest in buys, but we've seen tremendous success in performance, getting renewals and getting budget increases. So we're very excited about our role in the future of connected TV.